Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, it is yet another Friday that we meet here. It is indeed a good thing that you are doing well. My name is Zamzam Ahmed and welcome to Horizon TV. This is the Muslim Insight. Today we have so much lined up for you. Let's get the headline. Hajj preparation. Hajj Ministry sets May 23rd as deadline for Umrah ahead of Hajj season. Israel's war on Gaza. We bring you details of Israel's murderous war on Gaza that has left over 30,000 Palestinians dead.
Wale sana sana wako huko interior kabisa, ile shida tunaambatana nao ni kuwaoza wasichana wetu mapema kabla hata hawajafika age yao ya kuolewa.
Ending child abuse. Leaders decry negligence of parents as reports indicate increase in child abuse cases in Garissa County. Thank you for tuning in at Horizon TV. My sign language interpreter is Mariam Jamaluddin. Now on to our top story on the demise of Chief Defence Forces Francis Ogola. The remains of the Kenya Defence Forces chopper crash victims arrived in Nairobi yesterday night. President William Ruto announced the death of Chief of Defence Forces Francis Ogola in a helicopter crash on Thursday afternoon. Addressing the press in the evening, President Ruto said the military chopper crashed at the Sanda area in Elgeyo Marakwet County at around 2:20 p.m. Among the deceased whose remains arrived in Nairobi include Brigadier Swale Saidi, Canon Duncan Keitani, Lieutenant Canon David Sawe, Major George Benson Magondu, who was the pilot, Captain Sora Mohammed, Captain Hilary Litali, Senior Sergeant John Kinyo Mureithi, Sergeant Cliffons Omondi, and Sergeant Rose Nyawira. Addressing journalists at State House in Nairobi, President Ruto mourned the late CDF as a gallant military officer and a true patriot who dedicated his life to serving his country, which unparalleled honor and distinction. The helicopter was carrying 11 other military officers, 9 of whom were killed alongside CDF Ogola in the crash, leaving only 2 survivors. The President announced the Kenya Air Force team has been dispatched to the site of crash to investigate the crash. Now from Horizon TV, we say Inna Lillahi wa Inna Ilayhi Raji'un. Now switching gears, October 7th, 2023, Israel launched a deadly military attack on the Gaza Strip, an attack that has so far resulted in the death of over 30,000 Palestinians, including over 7,000 people who have been reported missing and over 75,000 others injured. Among the victims of the Israel military attack on innocent civilians in 7 months include over 14,000 children, over 9,000 women have been killed in the attack. Additionally, 30 children have died of starvation. In this report, the Muslim Insight breaks down the 7 months of Israel's war on Gaza.
For 75 years, Palestinians have been demanding Israeli recognition, if not an apology and amends, for the horrors committed against them during the first Nakba of 1948, when more than 700,000 Palestinians were forced out of their homes in what became Israel. Palestinians in the occupied West Bank live in fear as armed Israeli settlers attack them, their families and homes on a daily basis. The The situation in Gaza has always been bad for years. Israeli soldiers search houses day and night, vandalizing and arresting Palestinians without any warning. On October 7, 2023, Israel decided to take the crimes they have been committing in Gaza, while the world was silent, to an unprecedented and immeasurably level. The Israeli-Hamas war has killed more than 30,000 Palestinians, among them more than 14,000 children and more than 9,000 women. Among other victims of the Israeli attack in Gaza include over 400 medical workers, 140 journalists, and over 60,000 pregnant women at risk due to lack of healthcare services. The war has resulted in over 270 government offices being destroyed in Palestine, 100 schools and universities completely wiped out by the airstrikes, over 200 mosques destroyed, 32 hospitals rendered out of service by the bombs from Israel, and over 70,000 tons of explosives dropped on Gaza alone. On January 26, 2024, the International Court of Justice laid out 6 provisional measures in South Africa's genocide case against Israel, calling for steps to prevent genocidal acts, prevention and punishment of incitement to genocide, and measures to ensure access to basic services and humanitarian aid to civilians in Gaza, a call Israel has ignored.
Starting from the Nakba of 1948 until now, Israel has adopted discriminatory legislation and measures by which it has established a deeply entrenched system of racial discrimination against Palestinians, subjugating them to Israeli domination and denying their fundamental rights.
Since the ICJ ruling on January 26, 2024 in the case of South Africa against Israel, over 3,000 Palestinians have been killed. According to sources, including the United Nations, the Israeli war has pushed 85% of Gaza's population into internal displacements amid acute shortages of food, clean water and medicine, while 60% of the infrastructure has been damaged or destroyed. Reporting for the Muslim Insight, my name is Hafsa Fahmi.
Thank you so much, Hafsa Fahmi, for that beautiful report. Now from Gaza to Kenya and to Northeastern. Garissa County has seen an increase in the number of cases relating to child abuse, including early marriages, female genital mutilation and teenage pregnancies. The government of Kenya, through the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection, launched the 2019 Violence Against Children Survey Report and the 2019 to 2023 National Prevention and Response Plan on Violence Against Children. The report highlighted concerning trends which showed increase in certain forms of physical and sexual violence among children.
Kenya has implemented sustained efforts for addressing FGM, including creating an enabling legal policy environment, resulting in the ratification and domestication of international instruments for the protection of girls and women.
Kwa miaka mingi tumekuwa tukifanya campaign ndio tuweze kupunguza hiyo behavior katika jamii, lakini ile hatua tumeweza kufika hadi saa hii ni hatua kidogo sana.
Parents have been blamed for engaging their children in forbidden acts, including FGM and early marriages.
Wale sana sana wako huko interior kabisa, ile shida tunaambatana nao ni kuwaoza wasichana wetu mapema kabla hata hawajafika age yao ya kuolewa.
According to Benjamin Kinyua, the Garissa County Children Coordinator, the high percentage of carelessness among parents and guardians is concerning, revealing that his office is managing a caseload that exceeds 70% of cases involving neglect.
Lakini tukichukua huu mwelekeo wa kutengeneza hizi messages ama ujumbe, tutengeneze ujumbe wa aina ambao unaweza kutumiwa kupitia kwa maredio, TV, mtandao, wanajamii wataweza kuelimika na waanze kubadilisha na kuacha mila zingine ambazo pia zinaathiri maisha ya watoto.
Despite the government's efforts in developing and adapting policies and enacted laws to protect children, thousands are still exposed to violence and abuse, harmful practices, lack of parental care, and sexual exploitation.
As much as the government and other partners are doing their part, I think the problem is the society.
Uba Abdullahi, a senior assistant chief, Bulamzuri location, Garissa County, said the high divorce rate in the county has been a major contributing factor that has led to many children going through abuse and discrimination.
I'm urging the parents hata kama waliwachana wakuwe watoto wao waangalie, wakuwe makini, baba na mama pia wasione hiyo uchungu kati yao ambaye waliwachana, lakini waangalie watoto, wakuwe makini kwa watoto yao.
Sheikh Hassan Abdi, a SUPKEM representative, called on the parents to hold on to the family unit that will help bring future generations, stating that masla can be used to solve disputes that more often leave children stranded in broken families.
Kama mnawachana tafadhalini, yinyi wawili ndio mmewachana, lakini watoto ni wenu. Patia chakula na bili yao. Mama, vile ulikuwa unalipa wakati mlikuwa pamoja, usikate hiyo pesa wewe bwana.
Reporting for the Muslim Insight, Saida Aboud Bilil.
Thank you, Saida, for that report. Now, moving on, the Kadhi's Court of Kenya in Nairobi Upper Hill area is set to host an open day on Monday next week, the 22nd April 2024. The open day aims to promote transparency, understanding, and inclusivity to the members of the public to learn about its operations and functions. The Kadhi's Court handles matters pertaining to Islamic law relating to personal status, marriage, divorce, or inheritance in proceedings in which all the parties profess the Muslim religion and submit to the jurisdiction of the Kadhi's Court. The Kadhi's Court plays a significant role in resolving disputes among Kenyan Muslims community, covering various aspects of Islamic law, including marriage, inheritance, and property rights. The open day is scheduled to take place at the Kadhi's Court in Nairobi's Upper Hill area on Monday, April 22nd from 9 a.m. All members of the public are invited to attend and participate in this unique opportunity to learn about the Kadhi's Court's vital role in Kenya's legal landscape. The Kadhi's Court are established under Article 170 of the Kenyan Constitution. Elsewhere, the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah has announced that Dhul Qa'dah 15th, 1445, which falls on 23rd May 2024, will be the last day for the expiry of Umrah visa for pilgrims coming from outside the kingdom. The advancing of the Umrah visa expiry date from Dhul Qa'dah 29th, which corresponds to 6 June to Dhul Qa'dah 15, is to streamline the smooth flow of pilgrims to the holy cities of Makkah and Medina from all over the world for the annual pilgrimage of Hajj. The ministry also noted that the validity of the 3-month Umrah visa will be deemed to begin from the date of its issuance instead of the previously approved validity from the date of entry into Saudi Arabia. As part of the preparations for the upcoming Hajj season, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has also implemented a ban of residents and visitors entering Makkah without a permit. This regulation has been put in place to ensure the smooth organization of the pilgrimage. Consequently, Umrah pilgrims holding visas other than Umrah visas must either leave the country, remain outside Makkah, or obtain a Makkah permit to gain access to the holy city. Still on matters of Hajj, the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims National Chairman Hassan Ole Nado has lauded the government's efforts in the issuance of passports to the Muslims who will be traveling to Saudi Arabia for Hajj pilgrimage. Speaking at State House, Nairobi, Olenado said for the first time in history of the country, the Muslims going for Hajj will be issued with a travel document in a record 3 days. For many years, Kenyan Muslims traveling to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for Hajj pilgrimage have had to deal with many challenges, key among them including the issuance of passports. But this year, things will be different after SUPKEM National Chair announced that the government is processing passports for those intending to go for Hajj in a record 3 days. The government has purchased 2 new passport printing machines, which have already been delivered for installation in Nyayo House. The 2 machines, according to Immigration and Citizen Service Principal Secretary Julius Bitok, have a combined printing capacity of 600 passports per hour. According to Bitok, Kenyans will be able to get their passports within 14 working days. This year, 3,300 Kenyans will travel to perform the pilgrimage in the sacred city of Mecca, Saudi Arabia, according to Kenya Hajj Mission.
On matters of passports, Your Excellency, at the moment Muslims are preparing to go to Hajj. I want to report to you, sir, that for the first time in this country, Muslims who are preparing to travel for Hajj have been able to secure their passport in a record of 3 days. And this is we are very, very grateful, because we had one meeting with the leadership of the Ministry of Interior, the Directorate of Migration, and we agreed on the formula in which we can use for those Muslims who are willing to travel to get their passports. And alhamdulillah, we have supported the process, and through that process, we have managed to achieve what I've just told you. On matters of passports,
Indeed, a great relief for Kenyan Muslims. Now moving on, Kenya is set to host the Connected Africa Summit 2024, scheduled for April 21st to 25th this year at Uhuru Gardens in Nairobi. The 5-day event will bring together African heads of state, ministers of information, communication and technology, public sector representatives, private sector leaders, academia, foreign missions, and development partners, among others, aimed at addressing the critical challenges and opportunities within the Africa's ICT sector. The 13th edition of the Connected Africa Summit will be held under the theme Digital Africa, Unlocking Growth Beyond Connectivity, and it will focus on Africa's ICT priorities guided by the African Union's Agenda 2063.
We are going to have conversation in areas of connectivity, how our country is connected to the rest of the world, and also how we connected to our neighbors and to the entire continent. We are also going to have a platform to bring the entire African leadership to have conversations on some of the emerging issues, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and other emerging technologies, and how Africa can participate. We have new issues arising that affect global economy, like the semiconductor industry. The continent is known to be blessed with rich minerals, and we think we need to have conversations. How can we be part of the global economy, contributing to diversification of supply chain and hosting global data centers in the continent, reusing our renewable energy, and also manufacturing some of these high-tech products like the semiconductors. So we've had conversation with the media, and we are happy to have representation from the Editors Guild, Francis being with us and the other members, to see how we can use this platform where we are hosting the entire continent to grow together as a continent, and to also work as one together with the media in bringing information across the continent. It's a great opportunity to our startups, a great opportunity to our innovators, the manufacturing, and all those who have products and services to be exported across the continent. This is a forum to come and meet decision makers and to be able to engage and see how Kenya can now help the rest of the continent. We've made a lot of progress as a country, and it's also time to share this progress with the rest of the continent.
Last but not least, Aga Khan University and the Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy has called for the public and private sector collaboration in the implementation of policies, laws and regulations for digital infrastructure during the launch of the two-day Global Digital Transformation Conference. The conference, themed Digital Transformation in East Africa, is exploring the impact of digital technologies on health and education across private and public sectors, such as the enacted Digital Health Act of Kenya.
Speaking during the opening ceremony of the conference, Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo commended the contribution of the Aga Khan Development Network to digital conversations.
It is commendable to see the Aga Khan University, renowned for its excellence in education and the health sector, take leadership again in an ICT-related topic through the various conversations that will take place over the next 2 days. This conference, ladies and gentlemen, is coming just a few days before we hold a continental summit to discuss matters ICT, the Connected Africa Summit.
According to the CS, digitization has enabled the country to reduce the timeline of laying over 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic cables for the last mile internet connectivity from 5 years to 2 years, and increase the daily digital revenue from 60 million Kenya shillings to 1 billion Kenya shillings.
We are aware that quite a number of parts of the country had, as we speak, not yet been fully connected to reliable and stable internet. As a government, therefore, we have embarked on an ambitious program of rolling out 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable to ensure that those parts of the country that hitherto had not been connected get access to reliable and stable internet.
Aga Khan University Vice Chancellor Dr. Suleiman said digital transformation was about empowering people, companies and organizations that can only be achieved if people and organizations have the information and technology.
Digital transformation is about empowering people and empowering companies and organizations. Digital transformation will be achieved when people and organizations have the ability to use information technology to its greatest value and to achieve their goals.
The Aga Khan University Hospital became the first hospital in East Africa to adopt an integrated electronic health record system that is having a positive impact on patient care, research and learning.
It's going to have a major impact, the electronic health record system, on patient care and research and learning, but it took a major effort and substantial resources to implement. Innovation. Nairobi is Kenya's innovation powerhouse. How do we build upon the strong foundations for innovation that have already been established by so many brilliant entrepreneurs and engineers? Because we just don't want to be technology takers, we want to be technological makers.
The conference brought together over 300 high-level stakeholders in education, health, media and technology. Muhammad Shakombo, Muslim Insight.
Thank you so much. Now that report from Muhammad Shakombo brings us to the closure of our first segment of the Muslim Insight. Now the Muslim Insight takes a short break, but when you come back, we're going to have a review of the Friday Bulletin.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Kuna faida gani twapata tukimjua Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam?
Nabii mwenye ushawishi mkubwa duniani.
Tukizikwa tukitiwa kaburini, tutaulizwa haya maswali matatu. Man rabbuk, ma dinuk, man nabiyukum.
Sheikh Jamaluddin anakupa simulizi.
Huwezi kumpenda mtu usiyemjua
na kutambua sunna zake.
Lakini ukimjua na ukimtambua Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mapenzi yako yatazidi.
Ufahamu Rasulullah, familia na maswahaba wake. Tazama sira ya Mtume kila Jumatatu saa 1 jioni kwenye Horizon TV.
Wengine wanasema Dhulqarnaini alikuwa ni malaika. Wengine wanasema Dhulqarnaini alikuwa ni nabii. Wengine wanasema Dhulqarnaini alikuwa ni katika watu wema walioishi hapa duniani.
Dhulqarnain ana mchango gani katika historia?
Yeye ndiye ambaye amewafungia Juja wa Majuja katika ngome ambayo mpaka leo wanajaribu kutoka.
Dhulqarnain ni simulizi yenye kusisimua na kuelimisha.
Babu Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala siku zote ana wanusuru waja wake wema.
Sheikh Ahmed Uthman anakupa simulizi hii adhimu ya Dhulqarnain katika Horizon TV.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Kwa kusoma Qur'an ni lazima isomwe namna ilivyoteremshwa. Asema Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, warattilil Qur'ana tartila, uwe ni mwenye kusoma Qur'ani namna ilivyoteremka. Asema Dhihaki rahimahullahu ta'ala, harfan harfa, kuisoma herufi baada ya herufi. Na ni vipi tuisoma Qur'ani?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن kuntum ta'lamun.
Enyi mlioamini, munapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu, hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back and thank you for staying here with us at Horizon TV. Again, my name is Zamzam Ahmed, and on our second segment today we are going to have a Friday Bulletin review. And to discuss the Friday Bulletin review, I am joined here by my guest Musa Mwale, the Director, Maslah Mediation Center. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Musa Mwale.
Yeah.
Welcome to our studio.
Thank you so much.
Mashallah, it is indeed a great morning. Now, into our front page of the Friday Bulletin, we're seeing that talking about Hajj 2024, and it has been reported that 3,300 Kenyans will be traveling to Makkah. Those are approved. Maybe could you tell us why is Hajj important to Muslims?
Mashallah, Hajj is one of the pillars or fundamental pillars within the Islamic faith, and in one's lifetime, we are encouraged that at least once in a Muslim's lifetime, those who can afford, they should be able to prepare themselves and go and perform Hajj. And of course, there's this notion people have been having that Hajj is for the elderly. Hajj is a very rigorous exercise, and I should encourage that young people, young adults and middle-aged people should be the one struggling to perform Hajj, rather than wait until physically they are challenged. That's when they want to go for Hajj. Hajj for a 60-year-old is quite a challenge, it's quite a struggle. Yes, of course, the facilities have been improved nowadays, but you could just see, even just doing the circumambulation, the 7 times, you are talking walking, kilometers and kilometers, unlike before when people were fewer, and therefore you had a small area to circumambulate. Right now, you have a bigger area, much bigger area because of the crowd. And also walking, throughout, it's a rigorous exercise. I want to really congratulate those ones, the 3,300 for now, who actually have been cleared to participate in this year's Hajj. We congratulate them. And we ask that whenever they go for Hajj, they pray for those who will not have made it to make it, inshallah.
We can see that the chairman, national chairman, SUPKEM, Hassan Olinado, has said that 3,300 Muslims, Kenyan Muslims, have met the necessary requirements and have made all the payments. Maybe what are the requirements for a person to maybe perform this Hajj pilgrimage?
Well, I think apart from of course, the spiritual preparation, there are quite a number of documentations that are needed for people to travel. Of course, you need to have a valid passport or travel document. You need to have some vaccinations have been done. So those are some of the preparations that, in terms of documentation, of course, you need to have a visa. If you're traveling with your spouse, you need to have a marriage certificate, to prove that this is your spouse. So those are some of the documents that are required for people to prepare. There are quite a number, but those are just few. So I guess that before someone is cleared, they have all the necessary documents. Of course, the finances is first and foremost. They have completed or saved enough money. Maybe they are going through an agent. Like in Kenya, I think we go through agents. You have an agent that is approved, and the agent has submitted the required documentation and money for advance bookings. The hotels have been booked and all that kind of stuff. So I think those are the logistics that one requires, or one might require to go through to be able now to say, I have been cleared to go for Hajj. Apart, of course, from the spiritual, I know quite a number of institutions like the Kenya Council of Imams, like Jamia Mosque. They hold preparatory programs or trainings on the rituals that take place during Hajj to just prepare people going for Hajj, because people go for Hajj, and if they don't know how to go through those rituals, then their Hajj might be null and void.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hajj, you've talked about people waiting for the time, 60, age of 60. They can go when they're still young or they're still youth. But you've talked about the documentations like the marriage certificate. What happens to those people maybe who are not yet married and they would love to go to?
Yeah, I just mentioned the marriage certificate because some people are married and they're going with their spouses, you know, and there are certain rules within the kingdom that, of course, if you're married, you have to have proof that you're married. But you mean anyone qualifies to go for Hajj, whether married or single.
So everybody is qualified?
Yes, only that when people are going with their spouses, you know, you want to go with your wife or you want to go with your husband, then that is a document, one of the documents that will be required, proof of marriage, will be that document.
Okay.
Yes.
We go to another topic still on the front page, that Chief Kadhi urges Muslim leaders to prioritize unity in fostering community development. How important is unity among the Muslim community?
Yes, of course, one of the ayahs of the Quran is Allah told us that we should not depart from unity. We should not, we should hold together like a rope. And we've had a lot of challenges as a community. Unfortunately, there are quite divisions, and divisions are around. You know, diversity. We cannot say we can be one. But some of these challenges, although they are trivial, but we waste a lot of resources and a lot of energy fighting each other because of those differences. There could be differences in the schools of thought. There could be differences in the way we perceive things. There could be differences even when it comes to moon sighting. People magnify it, and it becomes such a big issue that we waste a lot of resources and time arguing and fighting, rather than focusing on the bigger challenges that face the community. Our infrastructure is lacking. We do not have enough schools. We do not have enough. We do not even have our own hospitals. We do not have enough learning institutions, be they primary school, high school, tertiary colleges, up to university. So we should be struggling to unite and build our infrastructure so that we have all this. Instead, we concentrate on our small differences. Or these ones, they do this. These other people, they do this. We cannot get together. There's no way we can sit together. Even when it comes to politics, political affiliations, or this one supports party B, I support party A, and therefore we cannot get together. Yet these are worldly things that do not really benefit us in our ibadah. They do not benefit us in our hereafter.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, on the same about unity, because Chief Kadhi going to Mombasa, you know, performing the Eid prayers. Eid prayer was like more than a week ago.
Yes.
And you can see that he has raised concern over the increased criminal activities within the Mombasa community, or rather the Mombasa county. Maybe what could you talk about the criminal activities that are being carried on in Mombasa County?
Yeah, the criminal activities come in for several reasons. Some of the reasons are the values that the young people, because most of those are actually performed by, most of those acts are performed by young people. The values that we nurture them with, especially the Islamic values, have been, the families or the community has lacked to impart those positive Islamic values within the young people. So as a community, we can say that's part of the challenge, that we have failed. But also we know that, poverty contributes a lot. Idleness contributes a lot, lack of employment. And therefore, as a community, that's why we are saying, rather than concentrate on trivial differences, we should concentrate on establishing an infrastructure that will enable our young people, those ones who did not qualify to go to high school, at least they can go to colleges, to TVET colleges, or TVET institutions, and gain some skills, and therefore gain employment or secure employment. Those ones who end up at O level can also go to tertiary institutions, either pursue certificates or diplomas, and get employed. But when you have young people who lack the required values to live well as a Muslim, when you have the same person lacking education, and therefore they're disadvantaged in terms of getting employment, where do you take that kind of person? The only other thing they know is to involve themselves in criminal activities. So as a community, we need to really pull up our socks, put aside the differences, concentrate on nurturing young people in terms of Islamic education, Islamic values, and then concentrate on giving them or empowering them with employable skills. And also some of the reasons why we have some of this crime is dysfunctional families. I know there's somewhere in the bulletin we're going to talk about divorce.
We'll talk about that.
Yes.
But on the same, we can see that 75% of the population in Kenya are youth.
Yes.
Youth are used for many things.
Yes.
They are used to create violence. They are used to create riots. They are used in one way or the other, but not in a good way,
Yes.
We're talking about nurturing talent, youth talents. And Islamically, it is good that you nurture youths while they're still, from the beginning, when they are young, you know?
Yes.
Maybe, what are you going to tell those youths that have reached a point whereby they feel like, this is not my time, I'm not in that time to maybe memorize Quran, I'm not in that age of doing this and that? No, because I am that person, I've reached that age whereby I can do what I can do. I can do what others are doing. I'm 18 now. What maybe can you tell them?
Thank you very much. It's quite a good question. One is that there's no time, that there's no age that limits one from learning and especially memorizing Quran. We know people who've reverted to Islam at age 40 and they have gone ahead and memorized. It's for you having that kind of commitment. We know people who've reverted to Islam at age 40 or 45, but they've gone ahead and studied Islam, and they are now the ones doing da'wah. They have a lot of knowledge, because how long does it take? 5 years, 10 years? So if you're 40 and you revert to Islam and you take 10 years to get enough knowledge, you could easily be a scholar in Islam. So there's no limitation in age. However, of course, there are challenges that come with the life. A young person reaches a point where they want to maybe get married, and therefore the responsibilities of dunya calls upon them to engage in certain things, and that also limits them in participating in certain things. However, if people plan themselves well, at age 18, at age 19, it's not late for one to now start getting skills that will have them employed. Once they get enough skills, of course, they always spare time to do da'wah or to learn about their deen and involve themselves in community work, because you also get a lot of reward, and you also get to remember those ones who are disadvantaged in one way or another, and that humbles you. And it's not late to nurture someone's talent. If someone is good in soccer, in sports, They could also, at that particular age, that's the most prime age, 18, 19, 20, 25, that's the age when people are really nurturing their talents. So it's not late for young people to focus their lives positively. All they need is, of course, the larger community to put in place infrastructure, but they could also, because young people are also very creative, they could also come up with suggestions and proposals and say, we need, as young people, we need you people to help us establish this kind of infrastructure for us to flourish. And I'm sure institutions like Jamia Mosque, if young people came here and said, I remember at one point people were saying, why can't we maybe put a gym up there, you know? If people approach Jamia Mosque or any other institution and say, as young people, we want to be active, we want to be involved, can you create space for us to do ABCD? Possibilities will be looked into, and a solution will be reached.
MashaAllah, that is really great. It's just that they have not come out.
Yes, yes. Young people also need to take the initiative to come out.
Okay.
Yes.
We've talked about divorce cases leading to youths engaging themselves in criminal activities, in those activities that are not pleasing at all. Maybe you can see on page 2 that leaders sound alarm over rising divorce cases in Garissa County. And you can see that Garissa is in Northeastern. Maybe talk about the rise in divorce cases in the country.
Generally,
yeah.
Yes, alhamdulillah, I'm quite deeply involved in family matters.
Okay.
And we get these cases on a very daily basis. I work very closely with the Kadhi's Court, both here in Nairobi and all over the country. There's been an increase in divorce cases. Of course, one is that people are getting into marriage without really necessarily taking the right steps to, or certain precautions like premarital counseling. We insist that right now, premarital counseling should be a priority for any couple wanting, or any people, be they young, middle age, or at whatever age, someone intending to get into the institution of marriage should go through premarital counseling. That will help prepare them for the tasks, the nice things, and the challenges ahead of them. And of course, once people are in marriage, whenever there's some discord, there should be proper mechanism to address that. And we have marital counselors or therapists who can help. Okay. You do not just rush to a friend or a relative to help you because they might not have the skills. They might also not be very keen to see you flourish in marriage. And therefore, you need to go to a professional. And also, people need to take marriage very seriously. We see a lot of negligence on the part of our brothers or men. We see a lot of cruelty also come in play. You know, that's domestic violence, and domestic violence sometimes is out of course, frustration, out of maybe lack of resources or lack of employment. So when a man is at home, he doesn't have money, he's expected to give, and they're asking for money, so he becomes upset, or he becomes defensive, and he doesn't know how to act or to react, and therefore he becomes violent. You can see that during the COVID-19 period, there were a lot of domestic violence issues, because now people got time to sit together to start noticing some of those things. So we need to take seriously marriage to avoid some of reasons that lead to divorce. Divorce is there. We cannot do without it. Allah himself has sanctioned it, that whenever you reach a point of no return, then we are allowed. But there are also procedures to that divorce. The non-Muslims think that, and they make fun of it. They say, oh, in Islam, if you want to divorce, you just say divorce, divorce, divorce 3 times, and it's done. There is a process, a whole process, that if people tried to just understand what marriage is all about, especially for couples, they would understand at what point can divorce come in place, and what are the issues or what is the mechanism of going through that divorce. Okay. You don't just wake up and give divorce, or you don't just wake up and demand for divorce from your husband.
Yeah. Okay. You've talked about strengthening the bond between couples. Maybe as the director of Maslah Mediation Center, what do you do to ensure that people get married in a halal way, they stay together in a good way, maybe?
Yeah.
How do you ensure that?
One is that I mentioned it. First and foremost, we encourage couples, and we do it at our place, to go through premarital counseling to understand what marriage is all about. And then, of course, they will also be taken through sessions where they understand that if you have issues, there are places you can go to. They should understand themselves and the responsibilities they are taking on. And wherever there's a dispute, we have been told that whenever two parties are in dispute, especially husband and wife, they should seek mediation, either from family. Of course, it's first recommended that from family, but now we have professionals like us who do it. So people should go to professionals and talk to them. And mostly, we would recommend that, most of the time we recommend that people go for therapy. Okay. Because one partner might be the one having a problem and is creating discord in the entire family. But if it reaches a point where now people are really fighting, there is mediation. Before they go to court, they could agree to proceed with the marriage, or they could agree amicably to part ways, because in between there are children also involved. If you're parting ways, how are those children going to be taken care of? Are you going to start fighting each other through the children? You know, so mediation will help them agree on a win-win situation where we are either agreeing to stay together on these terms or agreeing to part ways, but on these terms. Yeah. As Muslims, we still remain Muslims, we'll still remain a Muslim brother and a Muslim sister to each other.
Okay.
Yes.
You can see that there are so many consequences of divorce.
Yes.
That will really touch the children.
Yes.
Maybe can we look at the reasons why marriage fails? You can see there are so many reasons here that marriage fails, and there are other reasons that can have solutions.
Yeah, quite a number of reasons, and for people who will be able to get Friday and Bulletin, and everyone should be able, you will benefit. We have someone has listed quite a number of reasons here as to why marriages fail. Of course, they are limited. Here, they have just given 10, but they're quite a number. But most important is that I can mention is communication.
Okay.
When people are not able to communicate, and communicate is not talking. Communicate is trying to pass a message to each other and trying to appreciate the other person's point of view or perception, and also you putting yourself in a situation where you can communicate nicely. You find an opportune time to raise your issues. So that is one. Of course, we have a responsibility. We have lack of love and appreciation. We have lack of companionship within the institution of marriage. And all those have been addressed, or normally they're addressed within the premarital counseling. And even when people just become serious with their deen and go through deen on a very regular basis, you know, reading your Quran, doing adhkar, seeking to understand what marriage is all about, listening to sheikhs, darsas on issues to do with marriage, issues to do with supporting one another, issues to do with child bringing. Those will limit, once people have the knowledge, it will limit those causes where it will lead to divorce.
Okay, that is on point 2.
Yes.
Are people differentiating between talking and communicating?
Yes.
Communication.
Yes.
And we can see that communication is the key to a successful marriage. Maybe look at point 1. Nowadays, you can say, I love you, now change. What is love?
I think, of course, many people define love in many ways, or they understand love from different perspectives. But for us, we've just been told two things, that Allah, in his own wisdom, created us male and female, and he created for us our mates, you know, so that we can dwell into them or with them in tranquility. And he has blessed us with two things, mawadda wa rahma, love and rahma. There is no equivalent word to tell us what rahma is, but you could say empathy, you could say appreciating the flaws and challenges in other people, so that one, there's love that has been created within our hearts for each other. And that love comes in when people are in the decision of marriage. And then when love, with the love, there is rahma. There's having a feeling for each other. You know, where someone has fallen short of certain expectations, appreciating that they're human just like you, and you also have your flaws. Where you think that love is not that lustful love that we all as human beings embrace, but there is that humanity in a person. You consider them, they are human beings, they've been good to you, they've been kind to you. If it's a wife, she's been cooking for you, she's been raising your kids for you, so you feel, well, she's done so much for me, even if she's done this one mistake, but the 99% that she has done to me, let me appreciate that first. So that's when that rahma comes in. So it's such a heavy word that we cannot really describe it. But when we have those two things that Allah has blessed a marriage with, love and rahma, then we will flourish in marriage.
You know, these days, love has become something normal. It is said by everybody, I love you. Just take it naturally.
Because it's not the love that Allah meant for us.
So you find many youths who have not been in marriage, like it's their starting point, you know. They're like, a guy tells a lady, I love you. The lady replies,
I love you too.
Si unajua family, si unajua babangu.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. It's true.
But they don't take that initiative, like going to the parents to ask for hand in marriage.
I mean, I love that, what you brought it out. You know, you love me, you know where my parents are, go to them and, you know, declare that. Yes.
You know, nowadays, on chat, other than that, it's I love you too.
Yeah, and that's not the love that Allah meant for us, and that's why it fails, because people are under that illusion that they love each other, yet they don't love each other. They love things that come with each other, you know, the physical looks and, you know, the material things that come with people, and not really that love that Allah created for us. Yes.
Okay, due to time, I can see on our last page, a Deputy Chief Qadi is called to host Open Day. How is this important?
It's very, very important. People are not utilizing the Qadi's court well. People do not, a number of people do not know what happens at the Qadi's court. People think that you go to the Qadi's court to be cancelled. You know, it's a court like any other court. And there are procedures to be used when you're going to court. And it's not an expensive court, it's a very, very friendly court. And having an open day, I mean, we would encourage all Muslims, if possible, in Nairobi, those ones who are able to just flock at the Qadi's court on Monday and just get to understand what goes on within the Qadi's court and how are cases, you know, taken in and how are they processed, and eventually, because we know people who file cases at the court and they don't follow it up, and then the cases, of course, they are dropped, And people say, oh, I've been going to the Qadi for the last 5 years. I've never gotten a divorce. But you see, you never follow it up through. You never follow the procedure. People think that it's a very expensive court, so, oh, I don't have money. I will just stay until whenever he feels like divorcing, granting me divorce, he will grant me divorce. Because when you go to the Qadi's court, you know, you need to have money. No, you need to go there. There are even a mechanism where, you know, you can sue as a pauper, as a person who doesn't have money. And the government provision or the judicial provision allows for that. So people should, this is a very good thing. People should go there and get to know the processes and procedures and what happens at the court.
Okay,
Yeah.
so basically Qadi's court deals with the family matters.
Family matters to do with divorce, marriage and inheritance.
You know, families don't tend to use the Qadi's court.
Because they do not know what is in need for them, what is there. People rush to the secular courts or the common law courts, and sometimes they don't get their rights because because Islam has very specific provisions, especially within the institution of family. So people who don't know, of course, they rush to this other court. Yet, in the Qadi's court, this other court, you can go, like when you're going to matters of children, it will take you 5 years or 6 years before you finalize. If you go to the Qadi's court, maybe within 3 to 6 months, maximum, you have your matter finalized. Actually, 3 months is on the higher side.
Okay, yes. Now due to time, I think we're gonna cut short conversation, and I can see there is a lot to discuss here on the Friday Bulletin. Thank you so much for taking your time, coming here and helping me or helping us review this Friday Bulletin. With that few remarks, I'd like to welcome you, or rather tell you to at least attend. You are being encouraged to attend the open up, the open day of the Deputy Chief Qadi's Court. It will be so great for you if you attend that seminar. It will be on Monday, April 22nd from 9 a.m. in the morning. Take your time. Find time at least. You're going to maybe get some information that you don't know about the Qadi's Court. I think from that, I'll cut the show there. Until next Friday, my name is Zamzam Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.